Yes, next question.
So the next question again has probably two parts because might be it's a long question. How can we encourage girls, how can we encourage young girls to wear modest attire according to the Sharia for covering themselves? Additionally, what is the suitable age to start teaching them about this modest clothing, covering themselves properly, or Islamic attire, etc.?
As a parent, the parents should teach children first the love of Allah, the who is your creator. When the child understands his or her creator, this is when the child will know that if Allah has commanded me about this, the child will follow it. So first the muhabba and the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs to be there. And also the parent or the parents should teach them that if they will do this, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward them in this world and surely in the hereafter. And those who are covering themselves, they'll be with the righteous people in Jannah. Many of the bounties and favors have prescribed to the woman that they will get in Jannah. So first the love of muhabba of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be there, and tell them a lot of virtues that to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are many rewards in this world and in the hereafter. And with regards to what age, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that at the age of 10 the parents should instruct them to perform salah. They should start from 7 at age 7, slowly, but age 10 is the age that they should be instructed to perform salah. So likewise, from age 7, the parents should, a little bit start putting modest clothes and hijab on them. And then from age 10, they should instruct them to wear hijab with muhabba, with kindness. Yes, Allahu Alam.
Okay, the next question is it permissible in Islam to celebrate birthdays? Are there any instances of our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sahaba karaam, or tabaaeen celebrating birthdays?
No, in Islam, celebrating birthdays is not permissible. Only leeway and permissible is that if the child is not baligh yet and the parents want to celebrate to give shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there is leeway, then there is permissibility. But as soon as the child becomes baligh, meaning after the age of 11, 12, then the celebrating birthday shouldn't be there. It is not part of Islam. And during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was no such thing as celebrating birthdays. And even there is dispute among the people, among the fuqaha and ulama and muhaddithin, that which date Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born. Some say 12th of Rabi'ul Awwal, some say 9th of Rabi'ul Awwal, some say 8th of Rabi'ul Awwal. And the Sahaba, they never asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that which date you were born. He only told that I was born on Monday, but that's about it. And Sahaba, the companions, were such people, they would ask each question, but they gave no importance to celebrating birthdays. So even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we don't know the exact date, which date he was born. None of the companions, none of the taba'een, taba'een, they never celebrated birthdays because there is no importance to it. Rather, the person should make fikr for the person's death and the akhirah. Yes, Allahu Alam.
The next question is how to bring deen into our lives and the lives of our families so that we live our lives according to the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Deen comes into the lives with good environment. If the good environment is there, deen will come in our lives. Environment meaning that the mahol and the environment of the house should be according to the sunnah. Meaning that first and foremost is that everything that the family is eating needs to be completely halal. If there is any doubt, they should avoid it. Because many times eating haram or even eating it with or drinking with mistakenly affects a person's behavior. So first and foremost that everything needs to be halal. And second is that there should be mahul, environment, living according to Islam in the house. Because in the masjid, yes, the Islamic environment is there. But in the masjid, the person is spending only maybe less than 1 hour in the entire day. So the mahul should be made into the house. How is mahul made? Is each time that we are reciting dua before eating, after eating, before going to washroom, after exiting the washroom. And so masnoon dua, the duas that are need to be recited, we're doing it. And also the recitation of Quran or stories of the prophets and the stories of companions. All these things are the environment needs to create good environment into the house. So inshallah, when the good environment is created in the house, this will have a good impact on the child, that despite the child is in the school or outside, the child will know that I am a Muslim. I need to submit myself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me all the time. So these are some of the basic things. Of course, there's detail to it, but one can start with this. Wallahu a'lam.
The next question is in Urdu, probably. Yeah, if you can try to answer in Urdu.
Okay.
It's up to you. So the question is, क्या फर्द नमाज बगैर अजान के एंड इकामत के मस्जिद में पढ़ लें तो हो जाएगी?
So the questioner is asking, can one perform farz salah in the masjid without adhan and iqama? So if the person is alone, then there is no need for, if the person is praying individually, meaning he is praying before the Jamaat time set, then the person can just do iqama with himself normally in normal voice and perform salah. And if it's Jama'ah and people have left adhan and iqama, then this is highly, highly disliked. This is like almost makruh tahrimi. It is very much disliked. However, if the salah is performed, it will be valid. And if the situation is like this, for example, in Islamic countries, where a lot of adhan are given in just one area, so one adhan is sufficient. So for example, a jama'ah is happening and they forgot to make adhan in their locality, but adhan has happened in different masjid where the voice is heard in this masjid. So in that way, that is sufficient. But again, to leave iqamah, this is highly disliked. So if a person is praying individually in the masjid, only iqamah can be done in normal voice, no adhan needs to be given. But if it's with jama'ah, then it is highly disliked if the adhan is missed or the iqamah is missed. But the salah will be valid. Allahu a'lam. Yes.
Okay. The next question is, how to approach non-Muslims about Islam?
This is a very detailed answer. If a non-Muslim is showing some interest in Islam, then one should ask that if he or she is following any religion or not. If the person is following certain religion, for example, Christianity, then first you talk about the similarities between Christianity and Islam. So a lot of similarities are, we know, among the Ahlul Kitab and Islam is there. So one can start off with this, that we love Jesus as we love all the prophets, right? But associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or saying son of God, these are all shirk. So one can talk about shirk as well, because this is the greatest sin. But at the same time, the person should talk about the virtues as well. That just like how there are severe punishments, right? Likewise, there's Jannah for the righteous ones. So one can start off with this. However, if a person is agnostic or a person who does not follow any religion, then tell the person that, look, Islam, it means to submit yourself to one creator. Of course, there is a creator. One cannot just say that there is no creator. The creator is there. Then one can start talk about Allah, oneness of Allah, that there is a creator, just like how everything has a creator in this world, that we make everything, the human beings or other creations are making things. Likewise, the whole universe is created by Allah. So it just depends on the person, who the person is, and based on that, approach can be done. Yes. Allahu A'lam.
Okay, the next question is once again in Urdu. The question is, क्या मरने के बाद ही हिसाब किताब हो जाता है? अगर हाँ, तो क़यामत में क्या होगा? अगर नहीं, तो कब्र में अजाब किस बेसिस पे होगा?
The person is asking that does the hisab starts right after death, meaning in Qabr, in the grave, or does it start on Yawm al-Qiyamah? If it starts in the Qabr, then on what basis the person is being accountable for? So the actual hisab is Yawm al-Qiyamah, because that day is called Yawm al-Hisab, the day of reckoning, where everything is going to be presented to the people. However, right after the person dies, there is a life called barzakh. This is such a life where we cannot say what life is this, but there is a life. This is a waiting period time between the person's death and till Yawm al-Qiyamah. So, some of the punishments have been mentioned by Rasulullah SAW, that the person will be given certain punishment because the person did not do tawbah wa istighfar. So before even Yawm al-Hisab, Yawm al-Qiyamah, certain punishments will be given to the evildoers, or meaning the person who did not do tawbah wa istighfar. And if a person died as a righteous person, as a good person, then as the hadith says, that grave becomes a rawda, just like how there's a Riyad al-Jannah in Jannah. So that grave becomes a rawda, a part of Jannah for that righteous ones. So this is a waiting period time. This is not actually the day of hisab. Rather, this is a waiting period, life of barzakh. And yes, there's a lot to it with the life of barzakh. This is a waiting period time, and this depends on the person's a'mal. If the person is righteous, then in that waiting period, he's going to be, or she is going to be in a good state. But if the person is not a righteous person, then the waiting period is going to be very difficult for that person. Allahu a'lam.
The next question is, can we do sadaqah on behalf of others, like on behalf of parents?
Yes, of course. Sadaqah can be done on behalf of parents. Actually, one hadith comes in mind. A Sahabi companion of Rasulullah SAW came to Rasulullah and he said, Ya Rasulullah, my mother passed away, and she passed away all of a sudden. Can I give sadaqah on her behalf? Rasulullah SAW, he said, yes, na'am. Yes, you can give sadaqah on her behalf. So yes, with regards to nafil sadaqah, you can give on behalf of your parents or anyone. But if it's like zakat al-fitr or sadaqah fitra, or even zakat, if one wants to give that, then the permission needs to be done. Meaning that if you want to pay on behalf of your parents who are zakat, they have to give zakat. And if you're paying on their behalf, you need to take their permission first. If they say yes, then you can give your sadaqah or zakat. Allahu a'lam.
The next question is, how to know that whether our ibadat are accepted or not?
This is just depends how the ibadah has been performed, how the ibadah has been done. Usually what happens, if one wants to know if the ibadah has been accepted or not, as the hadith says, that hajj mabrur, the accepted hajj, it is required from a Muslim. What is accepted hajj? It means that when the person comes back from hajj, he or she is not involved in the bad and old habits again. The person is now making effort to avoid sins or the sins that the person was doing before hajj. So if there is good change in the person's life, it means that the ibadat are being accepted. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. The salah, praying salah properly, it makes a person away from immorality things, immoral things and evil things. So if a ibadah is being done right and proper way, the person is going to see a good change, meaning the person will make an effort not to do sins, but a person will have consciousness and awareness, taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. At the same time, the person would want to do more and more ibadah. This is the sign of acceptance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, Allahu alam.
The next question is, what are the permissible ways of halal money trading?
Well, this is a very basic way of asking. I mean, halal way of trading, some of the basic things are it should not involve any riba, any interest. And if it's done between the parties, everything should be done with clarity, with mutual understanding. And it is highly recommended to be done in one sitting. There shouldn't be any gharar, meaning there shouldn't be any uncertainty which can create a problem in future. So these are some of the basic things. If these are all Sharia compliant, meaning they are all according to Sharia, then of course it is halal. Allahu alam.
The next question is it compulsory to have sahri for nafil fast?
It's not compulsory, but rather it is sunnah and highly recommended that one should be doing suhoor, meaning eating before intention of fast. One should be doing it. It's not compulsory, because if a person did not do suhoor, maybe sleeping or whatever the reason was, the time went out, the fast will still be valid. However, leaving it without any valid excuse, this is considered as makruh, disliked. The person should make an effort to do suhoor, whether it is nafal fast or whether it is farz fast. Allahu alam.
The next question is at what age fasting roza gets compulsory farz on boys and girls who have not reached puberty?
So if they have not reached puberty, meaning bulugha, then the fasting is not compulsory on them. But from parents' perspective, they should start be teaching them from the age 9 and 10. So when they become baligh, from maybe age 12, 13, 14, they have the habit of fasting. So the parents can instruct them from 9 age or 10 years of age. And so when they become baligh, this is when the fast is going to become compulsory on them. Wallahu a'lam.